They taught the class about Deathworld monsters like they were myths, relics of terror best observed from afar and behind reinforced glass. Professor Kirill stood tall at the front of the auditorium, gesturing dramatically as he paced before the holo display, each swipe bringing up the snarling image of a different creature: the thorn lacerator Grythix, the void howlerkin's maw, the acid-blooded crawler from Urot. The students, a mix of species from throughout the Galactic Accord, took notes diligently, though some cast anxious glances toward the exit doors. Even studying these things required a strong stomach. Deathworlds, Kirill announced, are planets so hostile, so vicious, that life there's a constant war for survival. Every organism is a weapon. Every breath may be your last. The screen flickered to show a densely forested, storm-racked world. Earth, he said dramatically, Class 12 Deathworld. The room fell into a tense silence. Even among Deathworlds, Earth had an ugly reputation, not because it was the most dangerous, but because its apex predator, humans, had left it and survived. Somewhere near the back of the room, one student, quiet, observant, unassuming, shifted slightly in her seat. Her name was Erin. She had transferred to the Xenobiology Institute 3 months ago. Thin, pale, with black hair always tied tightly behind her head and dark eyes that gave nothing away. She spoke rarely and asked fewer questions. Her record said she was from a lunar colony orbiting Harless Prime, and no one questioned it. Not until today. What makes humans, Kirill continued, tapping to reveal a series of recorded encounters, especially terrifying, is not merely their adaptability, nor their pack tactics or their tool use. It's that they learn. The class watched footage of a lone human facing down a thresher beast with nothing but fire and a jagged metal rod, adapting mid-fight, setting a trap on the fly. The beast screamed as it fell into the pit. The human barely limped away. They don't need claws. They don't need venom. Their minds are weapons, and once they face you once, he let the implication hang. A few students gulped. But aren't humans extinct? One student dared ask. Or hiding, fragmented, dispersed, Kirill replied. The Accord made sure Earth remained quarantined after the Exodus War, but we believe some escaped. Legends persist. Sightings, encounters, all unconfirmed. They say humans can smell fear, someone whispered. They say they sleep light like predators, said another. Erin's eyes flicked toward the front, her fingers twitching slightly on the desk. Let's examine what makes Earth such a horror. Kirill tapped again. Gravity, higher than galactic standard. Atmosphere, volatile. Weather, lethal and erratic. Biosphere, an evolutionary arms race. Even their plants can kill. Images flashed, spike-launching flowers, suffocating vines, trees with explosive seed pods. And yet, Kirill added, humans thrived. Not survived. Thrived. They tamed it, built cities, launched into space. Not in spite of the world, but because of it. More images. A human in crude armor made from predator bones. Another piloting a drop ship through a lightning storm. A group of them dragging a wounded crewmate through acid rain. Always together. Always adapting. Now, Kirill said with relish, a field report. The room dimmed. The holo flared to life, showing a shaky body cam feed. A Galari survey team moved cautiously through dense alien jungle. Last month, on an uncharted moon, our scout team encountered something unexpected. The footage jumped as something growled in the distance. The squad moved into a defensive posture. A blur darted across the screen. It hunted them, watched them, then it struck, one by one. The camera spun, revealing a flash of movement, a scream, and then static. When it cleared, only one remained, gasping, bleeding, crawling toward the evac point. Behind him, a silhouette stepped from shadows. Bipedal, upright, human. We believe, Kirill said gravely. This is the first confirmed modern sighting. The team didn't survive. The feed was transmitted remotely. The killer retrieved no equipment. It took nothing. Maybe it was defending territory, someone suggested. Kirill shook his head. It was testing them. Erin didn't move, but her heart rate, if anyone had been tracking it, had spiked slightly. They had found her kind again. Too soon. Now, Kirill said, clapping his hands, group activity. I want each of you to choose one Deathworld species and design a hypothetical encounter scenario. How would you survive it? How would you escape? Students stood and shuffled into groups. Erin remained seated. Her desk neighbor, a timid insectoid named Relic, hesitated before leaning over. Want to pair up? He asked nervously. Erin gave a tight nod. They worked silently. She let Relic do most of the brainstorming while she observed the others. Kirill moved through the groups, offering praise, critique, correction. When he reached Erin and Relic, he paused. No input from you, Miss Erin? I'm thinking, she said flatly. Good. Think like a survivor. Think like a human. His voice was playful, but something in his eyes narrowed. Studying her. She met his gaze unblinking. A flicker of confusion crossed his face. Maybe recognition. He moved on. Class ended with the usual scramble for the exits. Erin stayed behind. She stared at the holo display, which still showed the blurred image of the jungle silhouette. She walked up to it and touched the panel. The face was impossible to see, but the stance, it was familiar. Someone trained. Someone like her. He's watching you, you know, said a voice. She turned. It was Kirill. Alone now. You didn't flinch once during a whole lecture. Didn't react to the human footage. Even the other Deathworlders looked uneasy. Erin said nothing. And your records are flawless. Too flawless. Perfect grammar. Textbook speech. Like someone trying to pass as a colonist. She raised an eyebrow. What are you suggesting, Professor? Kirill didn't answer. He stepped closer. You know, I served in the Exodus cleanup. I saw what your kind did. You didn't just fight. You enjoyed it. Erin didn't move, but her muscles had coiled tight. So, Kirill whispered, how many of you are here? Enough, she said. Her voice was low, steady, dangerous. Kirill blinked. He hadn't expected honesty. You're studying us, he realized. Learning how we think. That's what we do, Erin replied. That's what you said in your lecture, right? You think the Accord will let you live if they find out? They won't have a choice. She stepped forward. You've studied monsters your whole life, but you've never wondered what happens when the monster studies you back. You're threatening me? No, she said. I'm just reminding you. You taught the class about Deathworld monsters today. She leaned in close, eyes like a blade, unaware one was in the room the whole time. Then she turned and walked out. No one stopped her. No alarms. No guards. Kirill stood alone, trembling slightly, because he finally realized she hadn't been hiding. She'd been observing. And the worst part? She hadn't even needed to try.